Now we're going to turn to our hearing today, and this morning we'll be discussing the Department of Interior's implementation of the bipartisan infrastructure law, which is known as the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. I'd like to welcome and thank Tommy Boudreau, Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior, for appearing before the committee today. Last year, Congress worked in a bipartisan way to enact the largest federal investments in our nation's infrastructure in decades, including approximately $100 billion in authorization and funding for the Department of Interior and the Department of Energy. This, combined with the investments provided in the Inflation Reduction Act, will be game-changing for us to produce more energy, lead the world in innovation, onshore supply chains, clean up legacy pollution, address drought, plan for wildland fires, and more. Last July, we held a very thorough business meeting about these provisions in our jurisdiction, which we considered 74 amendments and agreed to 48 before reporting our position of the bill with the bipartisan support. And as I understand, we might have been the only committee that worked the entire bill through this process. Now that the bipartisan infrastructure bill has been law for just shy of 13 months, we're here today to discuss how the Department of the Interior has been implementing the authorization and the $28.1 billion that we provided you. I am especially proud that $16 billion of that funding will be specifically helped to address an issue very important to my home state of West Virginia, the reclamation of abandoned coal mine lands and the plugging of orphan wells. Over $1.2 billion has already gone out the door to carry out that work. Working together with Interior, states are investing in projects to document and plug orphan wells. They close dangerous mine shafts, reclaim unstable slopes, restore water supplies, and clean streams by treating acid mine drainage, all while providing local jobs in those communities. Coal communities in West Virginia and across the country are proud to have powered our nation for decades and enabled this country to become the superpower of the world. Last year's funding investments recognize those contributions and the scars these communities bear as a result, and provide the funding needed to reinvest in the future of these communities that gave us so much. In fact, with the department's help, oh boy, the infrastructure bill's abandoned mine land funding, coupled with the AML fee extension, could result in approximately $4.3 billion in economic output for the state and 1,730 jobs that will continue for 13 to 15 years in my state of West Virginia. Substantial investments were also made to put men and women to work in our nation's forests, to make them healthier and less prone to wildfires. And at the Bureau of Reclamation, we made historic investments to address the ongoing drought crisis in the West, a key focus for many of our members on this committee. The law also recognized the importance of onshoring our nation's critical mineral supply chain and reducing our reliance on bad actors abroad to provide our energy needs, something that we doubled down on in the Inflation Reduction Act this summer. In addition to historic supply chain investments, we provided the Department of Energy in the bipartisan infrastructure law. We also came together to accelerate mineral mapping and fund crucial facilities and research at the U.S. Geological Survey, work that will help us find new mineral deposits and develop the sustainable mines of the future. Due to the severity of our energy and mineral security challenge, we included aggressive deadlines for action in our legislation. Unfortunately, not all of these deadlines have been met, including at the Department of Interior. Senator Murkowski and I sent letters to Secretary Holland, along with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Energy, the Director of National Intelligence, back in May, after several deadlines related to the critical minerals were missed. While many of those issues were eventually resolved, last month the Department of Interior failed to meet another key deadline related to critical minerals, a first step required to improve permitting for new mines. And there are more statutory deadlines coming soon for reports that are needed to inform efforts to secure our supply chains and increase our energy security. In addition, the one-year deadline to get regulations in place for new authority to permit carbon sequestration on the outer continental shelf also came and went on November the 15th. I look forward to hearing more about how we can work with Interior to move forward on these issues and at the same time ensure the future obligations will be met, of which there are many, many left. The subsequent Inflation Reduction Act mandated specific oil and gas lease sales and take place over the next year. Create a new requirement that oil and gas leasing take place before the renewable leasing and right of ways are issued, and numerous projects of all kinds are awaiting permits. With all of these deadlines looming and actions to be taken from these two historic laws, it is crucial that we have some assurances that the Department of the Interior will get back on track, meet its statutory deadlines, and move with urgencies that the situation requires and the American people deserve.